So the crowd building here in Rupolding, the start of the women's sprint event, 7.5 kilometers to be covered, just about to get underway. Michela Ponza, the Italian who had a pretty hard time in Oberhof, didn't finish the sprint event, so didn't get a start in the pursuit, and she's got a lot of catching up to do in the World Cups now. So Ponza gets it underway, lying 14th in the World Cup standings at the moment, and by far and away the best Italian on the tour this year. Number 2, Ulok Sledemark from Greenland. Now, she's not likely to threaten the top 50, but Ulok spends 4 months of the year on the biathlon tour, the rest of the time working in an office as a computer software engineer up in Nuuk in Greenland, and she travels on the tour with her husband and their child, and so it's a major commitment for them.
It is, and big financial commitment as well. Quite good in the prone shooting, 80% Uluk, but 44% in the standing, so let's hope she can get more than 4 out of 5 in the standing. But
they really compete for the love of it, as opposed to wanting to win World Cups, which I think at the moment certainly out of their reach. Whereas for Anna Begali, she has a very good chance of taking this one here. Looked very good in the relay, shot 0-0, 25 now, so Begali coming into her prime as a biathlete, and just outside the top 10 of the World Cup rankings.
Well, this could be a great day for Begali. She had second fastest time in the relay a couple of days ago, so her form is spot on.
Now, Tora Berger, one of the Norwegians starting to come through, comes from Trondheim, the centre of so much sporting activity in Norway. And each sprint she's entered this year, she has got better and better. 17th in Oberhof. I think we could see a top 15 run from Berger today. Her confidence looked very, very high in the relay event. So Tora Berger heading out of the stadium, and as she does so, we've just heard from control that Liv Greta Poré has decided not to race today, and her child not too well, so she's stayed at home, and that's got to be a good thing, Mike. It will be disappointing not to see her on the course, but Liv Greta had a really hard time in the relay, dropped from first to third on the last leg. It's not been her season so far, and really all her focus needs to be on family and the World Championships.
Well, do you know, I think it could be in a roundabout way, a very good thing for her. I'm sure we said a couple of days ago a rest would be the best thing for her right now, to forget about biathlon. So maybe, as chance has it, she's getting that rest.
Well, she's going to rest from this sprint. She'll also not be racing in the pursuit as a result. So it's going to be a week off, really effectively, for Liv Greta Poré. Let's hope it does her some good, and she comes back to her best form when the tour goes to Antolz next week. So, following Michela Ponza around the first part of the course. And if you've been with us for the last couple of days, you'll know just how brutal this course is here in Rupolding. The hills aren't particularly long, but they're incredibly steep, and the downhills are quite tough as well. So we stay with Ponza. Adele Turner of Great Britain started number 5. She's away on the track. Natalie Santa of Italy also started. Veronica Lagan is also underway. Not quite sure why we're focusing on Ponza so much, but it gives us an opportunity to see the majority of the course. Here comes the number 3, Anna Begali. Lots of movement, not the most efficient skier, Mike, but she's got a good approach to the sport. She looks relaxed. She looks as though she's enjoying it, and you never seem to tense up watching her.
Oh, indeed, and Begali certainly looks to be on very sparking form. Top 3 for Begali, I predict today.
Well, that's a brave decision. As we watch Katrine Arpel, I'd like her to see her finish in the top 3 as well. She's certainly quick enough at the moment, but Arpel just not quite found the top of her form as yet.
Straight into a climb, only 150 meters from the start. Not many course profiles where you're into a hill as steep as that straight away. Uschi Diesel just dancing around, keeping warm.
That's not Uschi Diesel.
As we go on to the dancing girls in pink.
Well, good atmosphere here, but we should warn you, early days, that this is a big field. 105 starters, 110 starters for the sprint event today. They start 30 seconds apart, so it's 55 minutes of starting. And the early starters will have long finished before the likes of, let's see who's down the back, and Nanko, Nina Lemisch goes number 109, and Grudicek of Slovenia goes 110. They're still going to be waiting to start, while the likes of Begali are in the warming tent or even heading back to the hotel.
Indeed, and it can be a distraction when you're right down number 110. The race, as you say, is finished for half of these athletes, and you really do have to keep a sharp focus not to be distracted by all the events happening around you.
So come on, give me a good argument for not reducing the size of the field so everyone starts within a much closer time span, say 30 minutes. There are lots of disadvantages of having it spread out because the conditions can change so much in this part of the world in the space of an hour.
Yeah, I agree with you in that sense, but when you look, the coaches have the options of putting their athletes, their best athletes, wherever they want to, and generally today it's slightly changed. Germans have mainly gone for Group 1, the Russians have put their best players in Group 2. So generally you get the best athletes within a 45-50 block of people anyway. And I think it gives the rest of the world a chance to race against the best biathletes. A true world sport.
Well, I think there are arguments for both ways. I agree with you there, but I also think you know, the field is growing every year, and we've got to control it. Otherwise, we're going to be waiting all day for them to get off. Or we've just got to have more mass starts, more pursuits, and somehow tighten up the racing, so we don't have long drawn-out races. But what we can guarantee from Rupollding today is that the first hour is likely to decide the race, and it's going to be very tight indeed. Good to see the likes of Martina Glago and Albina Ahyatova starting 65-67, so they'll keep the race alive for that long. Anna-Karin Olofsson, only been in the sport of biathlon for a couple of seasons now, comes from a cross-country background. As a result, she's very quick, but just learning the shooting game. But she's impressed us this year.
She has indeed, and wish her well today.
Arful with plenty of support down here in Rupollding. I think they'd like to see her put in one of her better performances. Raced in the relay the other day, shot okay in the pro and only missed one target, but missed 3 in the standing. Didn't have to go on the penalty loop, but those 3 shots certainly made Uwe Mussigang look a little nervous for a while. She was on the second leg and still put in a time of 20 minutes exactly. Quite impressive when you think she missed 4 targets, so you can add another 40 seconds to that time, or take 40 seconds off. So she was around 19 minutes 20 in pure ski time, which competes with the best.
That is in good form, and also in good form Anna Begali has taken 9 seconds off Ponza, which is quite significant. There's Michaela, one of the best shots on the tour, 89% hit normally in the prone.
So as Frank Look and Corin Negre were saying, shooting conditions about as good as they get. Ooh, now, might anything go wrong there, Mike?
Well, strange, she looked very relaxed, and that's when you're at your best, when you're relaxed. Probably just snatched the shot.
I was just watching the trigger finger and it didn't seem to do anything different. I was just going to comment that it was a nice smooth squeeze as opposed to a pull, and I didn't spot anything different on that 5th shot. And there certainly wasn't a gust of wind that she can blame it on, so maybe just a lapse of concentration, too eager to get out of the range. But she's on the penalty loop, and a chance for Anna Begali to take the lead away from Ponza. Not a good start for the Russian.
Well, I thought she'd finished in the top 3 today. She still can, but really has to ski fast now, Bogali.
Tora Berger started 30 seconds behind Bogali. Chance to gain some ground.
Very positive indeed. Maturing well as a biathlete, the young Berger.
Yeah, it's good to see some young Norwegians coming through. They've relied for the last couple of seasons on the successes of Liv Greta Poiré, but almost as Liv Greta is starting to lose form, these youngsters are coming up, they're gaining in confidence, and we often say that you need a real star in the team to bring everyone else up, but you also need to get rid of that star occasionally to let those people rise, because they can keep them down. I feel that's been the case in the French men's team.
That is true, and if you look at the Germans men's team, that has been the case as well. Frank Luck retiring, and now recently Peter Sendel retiring. It is bringing in the younger athletes.
Natalie Santa, this would be a rare occasion if she hits 5. She holds, but it goes down. Great stuff, good start, big smile on her face, and so there should be. It's been a poor season for Natalie Santa so far, Oleana Bjorndalen's partner, and well, that's not a bad start at all. She won't be too far off the lead, held at the moment by Tora Berger, 8:52. Santa goes into second place. Maybe that is just what she needs to spark her into life.
Delighted to see that. Confidence is what's needed. And look at the speed she's heading up the steep hill just after the range.
You may have picked up on the big cheer. That's because Katrina Arpel has just come into the range area and settling in lane number 2, it looks like.
Good chance to see the entry into the range. Flat after the long downhill, you do get better recovery here.
Well, she made up for a bad start. 4 out of 5 for Arpel. She'll keep herself in the running, but I'm not sure she's going to be able to win with one miss, because the likes of Uschi Diesel have been flying in recent weeks. She's looking for win number 4 of the season. The current World Cup leader getting underway, and well, it's only going to be another 7 minutes or so before Diesel comes in to shoot for the first time. And she's got a lot of local support, huge fan club wherever she goes, but here in particular, coachloads of people arriving with Diesel jackets on.
They certainly are. She's popular, forever cheerful, and she absolutely looks today as if she's on a mission to win this one. It's Adele Turner just going down the hill. She missed one target, Adele. And Adele Turner, the least experienced biathlete starting today.
Now, here's one of the women who could win the overall this year if she can keep her form going, Olga Zaitseva. Already had 2 podium finishes in the sprints this year out of 4, and a good start from Zaitseva. 8:52 the time she's after. I think she may just scrape ahead of Tora Berger. Very positive start indeed. That's why she's number 3 in the world at the moment, and her rise to stardom has been immensely quick.
9.5 seconds, that's quite a margin ahead of her teammate, and very good start indeed. In fact, it's Tora Berger in second place. Bogali did miss one, putting her 39 seconds behind Zaitseva. Look at Uschi Diesel. The power, she gets a lot of power through that, her left arm, all her weight going on the left ski. Loading it well. Similar to Hannevold in the men's race, she leans very much, upper body is very low.
but the upper body's been called upon to do a lot of the work, which is fine. But on some occasions, you just find you haven't got the power left in the upper body on the longer races. Kind of old, similar sort of style, but you look at the Bjorndalens and the Poires, they don't seem to do anything with the upper body because their legs are working so efficiently.
Indeed, so smooth and balanced and efficient. Interesting, it was snowing quite heavy earlier, but very, very wet snow, big snowflakes, and then it changed all of a sudden to these dry, more aggressive snowflakes. So they recut the tracks, and I think it's going to be fairly even for all.
Olofsson with 4 out of 5, a woman who did very well indeed when the Tour went to Oslo, got 2 top 10 results there. She's faded a little since then, but she did show us what she's capable of, and I think once she gets maybe another couple of seasons into her career, that she will be a contender for podium places. Now Diesel approaching the range area.
Work rate all the time. Ushi just doesn't take a break at all. On maximum from the start line to the finish line, except the shooting calming down a little bit to compose herself in the range.
It's interesting to see. You can see she comes from the old school of double poling, in that she pushes all the way through, where so many stop when the arms get to the hips, just to keep the tempo up. But Ushi, there's always that extra little bit of push. Good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, I think that's partly due, just thinking about that when you're talking, I think it's because her upper body is so low, her arms are swinging right back to help the counterbalance. So Katrine Apple not looking quite as sparky as Ushi Diesel did up the same hill, but it's fast.
So she's getting a little bit of time back on Tora Berger of Norway, but Berger, I think, will be happy with the way things are going. It's going to be an interesting second shoot for Berger. Just watching the number 11, that's Olga Zaitseva, who put in a good shoot early on, looking very strong indeed. Seconds, a fairly healthy margin, but it still doesn't really allow her one shot as yet. But I think if you do a few calculations, you can work out that Zaitseva, at the rate she's skiing at the moment, is going to be 25 seconds or so inside the skiing time set by both Apel and the Norwegian Berger. So I guess Zaitseva can afford one miss and still hold off those two.
Skiing very well. Here's Ponza. Oh, unusual. Another missed shot.
Still not a bad performance, not a best, but not too bad. She should get a reasonable start in the pursuit on Sunday. And in fact, the women getting the easier program this week in Rupolding, with a race on Wednesday, one on Friday and one on Sunday, whereas the men race on Thursday, Saturday and Sunday. Berger with, just misses that last shot. What a shame. So 9 out of 10 for Berger. Pagali 8 out of 10, the same as Michaela Ponza. So that gives Katrine Apel a chance to take the lead. Zaitseva will, I guess if she hears that news, will relax a little. It gives means that she can afford to miss 2 and still likely to go in front for a while anyway. I guess a lot will depend on what Ushi Diesel does when she comes in.
Great chance to see the fast downhill. She's taking a much shorter line, if you like, or the inside line into this corner. Fastest bit on the course. A little tricky there where the ice is coming through again. No problems for Rushi.
Natalie Santa, can she go clear for the first time today? Or this season?
See the carrying harness trembling. There's movement through the rifle. Slight breeze as well.
Good final shot. I thought that was going to turn into a bit of a nightmare, but she's got 8 out of 10, which is as good as she's done so far this year. So Natalie Sander can ski her heart out and try and get some World Cup points for only the second time. She's only got 1 point all season. Now, quick change of the sights. That's a formality for Diesel.
Well, she normally does that as she gets down into position. Now she really has disadvantaged herself there.
You can see Zaitseva's time 8:42. Diesel would have been 4 or 5 seconds inside that, but she has got 2 penalty loops to do. It doesn't look as though it's going to be her day. Will Arpel be able to capitalise on that? Fast and accurate shooting from Linda Sherholm. Katrine Arpel 2 misses. Is that the end? I don't think she can make a top 3 now, because a number of people have gone clear on the prone, and surely some of them are going to clear all the standing targets as well.
Yes, I think that's just a little bit too much. Looks like the German girls are feeling the home pressure. They've been in the papers, they're asked to do television interviews, they're on their home turf, and the pressure seems to be getting to them.
Yeah, we've seen it before. Zaitseva really needs the points. Lots of movement, but she gets the last one down. Good reflexes, because that barrel was moving up and down like a yo-yo. Somehow she timed it right. 3 out of 5 after a very shaky start indeed from Olga Zaitseva. That may well have scuppered her chances of winning here today, but she's not going to give up quite yet. Look at the time. Berger's gone out in 18:03. She's got 2 loops to do, Mike. I think she's going to be around 10 seconds behind Berger.
Well, it's going to be tight. Well, I'm not quite sure. I think she could even go out maybe 1 or 2 seconds ahead of Berger, because you carry a lot of speed into this penalty loop. Unlike a lot of the other World Cups, you're coming downhill into the penalty loop.
So that's 1 loop completed, another 150 metres to go for Zaitseva, and the clock ticking away. Mike looking nervous at his prediction of 18:01. It's not going to happen, but you're not going to be too far out. It's going to be a tight race. Zaitseva the quicker of the 2 skiers, so I'm sure she'll be able to make up that time by the time it gets to the end of this 2.5 kilometre leg. 18:08, 5 seconds between them. Zaitseva should take that one.
But doesn't she look tired now? This penalty loop takes the stuffing out of your legs, although it's fairly flat, but you're doing a lot of tight corners, so you're stressing the legs. It's mainly the inside leg, the left leg, as you're spinning around anti-clockwise.
But she's got a good split to aim for. When someone says you're 5 seconds down with 2 kilometres to go, that just gives you the psychological edge that you need to dig that much deeper. I'm sure Zaitseva's going to make a good effort at that. But Berger may respond. She may hear exactly what's going on. She'll certainly have been told that some of the bigger names have been missing targets, so push all the way to the line. Katarina Devoska former Olympic champion with 5 out of 5 in the prone, and the time not quite as quick. She's a long way off her big form. I liken her to Paavo Purinen, Mike. She always comes good at the majors, but doesn't, you know, when she's off form, she's way behind the best.
It's true, she really is, as you say, one of these, the big occasions athlete. Olympic Games, we've seen it, World Championships, she's improves by 2 or 3%, and that's all she needs today. Is even 1% could put her in the top 5, De Foska. But we missed it, we didn't pick up on it, but Linda Scherholm from Norway, she's gone through after the first shoot, and she's 11 seconds ahead of Zaitseva.
So Scherholm having a very good start, and in fact the young Norwegians, we mentioned them earlier, and it is great to see the likes of Scherholm and Berger in the top 5 of the standings after the first shoot. Maybe push down a place if Henkel can get this one down. She holds, but down it goes. Good shooting from Henkel.
It's always a joy to watch Henkel because she has her plan, it's fast, and she sticks to it. And not a bad idea. Why break routine? If that's what you do in training, it's good to keep the discipline to do that during the race. Don't change anything.
So, how has Uschi Diesel got on since that first shoot? We saw her make 2 mistakes, waiting for her to go through the 3.8 kilometre stage. Yet to reach there, should be there fairly shortly.
Well, she's a long way to catch up though. Is she 54 seconds after the shoot? It's a lot to catch up, but if anybody can, it's Uschi. She fights away there, non-stop.
The Chinese have done some very good shooting indeed this year. 4 out of 5 for Kong, so 8 out of 10 in total. That's average performance here today. Elena Zabrilova, another ex-champion who's been off the boil for the last couple of months, but she will come good at some stage of the season. Fairly sure she'll take a victory somewhere along the line, but is it going to be today? She's gone clear on that first prone, and the time is not too bad. Scherholm's 8:31 is going to stand. She comes in second, 8:41, just a second ahead of Olga Zaitseva. Maybe we're going to see her fight for the first time this year.
Indeed, that's good for the Belarus athlete. There's Tora Berger, her race is coming to completion quite soon.
I think she knows that no one's shooting that well, and she really is putting in a major burst as she comes into the line. This is going to set the lead just over 25.5 minutes, 25:34. Berger's delighted with that, and I think we're going to see her in the top 10 of starters in the pursuit on Sunday. Florence Bavrel-Robert.
Over 10 years, the best shot in female biathlon, and the perfect shoot again today. She just has the skill there, the belief in herself.
Ponza, 150 off the pace.
Surprised to see that.
Not such a good race, but as we said, she was having problems in Oberhof.
The Norwegian newspaper saying that Istad had the perfect race 2 days ago in the relay. She did have the fastest time. The shooting form is there.
She started well. Scherholm's time of 8:31 is he going to stand, Mike? She's got another 30 metres or so to go. I think Scherholm will stay top spot for now, but Istad should go into second place. 8:41 surely is going to be beaten out. She comes 8:35. 2 Norwegians in the top 2. It's going very, very well for them.
Already the track is breaking up. Istad going over to the left, which is the long way round the corner, avoiding the deeper snow.
You know what will happen, Mike, as soon as the Norwegians, if they do continue to do well in this race, and we say have 3 in the top 5, their press will be saying they're too good too early. This is they just won't be satisfied. Almost impossible to keep them happy.
But is Kati Wilhelm going to spoil the Norwegian party? Could well.
Well, that's certainly brought the crowd back to life here in Rupolding. Good atmosphere all the way through last night. The celebrating went on a long time.
Well, there's very little in it, 1.7 seconds. But significant that Cathy knows that she's leading it. Coaches will be informing her as she goes round the track. And that's a bit of a buzz, a boost to your confidence. You are leading the World Cup race. You can bring more out of yourself.
So Sherholm, who still has the lead after the first shoot, breathing very hard indeed. What do you reckon, Mike? Is that going to be a winning performance? She's hit 9 out of 10, given an opportunity. Maybe Diesel can come back. 2 misses in the prone. She's got to tidy it up. Needs 5 out of 5. Well, the shooting's been going very well indeed this season for Diesel.
Pressure. 13,000 people standing behind her. Not good. She might well lose the yellow bib today.
Well, she's 3 points clear of Sandrine Bailly. We haven't seen a lot of Bailly so far. Started number 48, and so it will be, in fact, she should be on the range very shortly. Here's Brankovic, who started a minute in front of Bailly. We expect Bailly to catch maybe 20 seconds on that first loop. So we may well see the Frenchwoman settled before Brankovic clears the mat.
Oh, that is a pity. She's having a great season, though, for Slovenia, Brankovic. But that's a tough one to come back from. Needs to hit the 5 out of 5 in the standing to finish in the top 10 now.
Well, there's the miss from Uschi Diesel. Very high.
What a movement in a rifle. We've been seeing the caption there. That's a wild miss at 4 o'clock.
I think the deer in the woods are in danger after that shot. But the 5th one goes down. 3 out of 5 for Uschi Diesel. And, well, she won't be particularly happy with that. That's an extra 600 metres she's skied today. She's quick, but she's not quick enough to make up for that sort of deficit. So she's now fighting for the minor positions, but each position worth points, and every second she can gain on the leaders on the last 2.5 kilometres will benefit her at the start of the pursuit event on Sunday. Olofsson, 9 out of 10, as good as anyone so far, and 24.58.
That's very impressive. And how long is that going to stay there? But for Sweden and Olofsson, that's fantastic.
Yeah, good finish from Olofsson. Took us a little bit by surprise. That's a very strong ski indeed, but I guess we shouldn't really be that surprised. Her skiing, her forte. Now, what can Devoshka do? Can she match Barbara Robert, who's gone clear? Yes, she can. Excellent stuff. And we may well see another change of the lead. Olofsson caught 8 seconds on Sherholm on the last leg. Voska is going to have to catch 2 or 3, but has got to match Olofsson over the last 2.5 kilometres, and she has not quite done that so far. The Swede just a fraction quicker, so that's going to be a tough one to call.
It certainly is, but Devoska's got the advantage of being given split times on Sherholm.
Now, Germany expects here. Same format as Uschi Diesel.
Well, strangely, I was saying earlier, Henkel always holds her routine, but she was being slightly more careful this time. She knew she was leading the race, and she just gave it that little bit more attention, and I think that might have been which brought the fact that brought the mistakes in. Glago starting in the second group, 65.
No, you still think that won't really make too much difference. The snow's been reasonably heavy for the last 20 minutes, so I think there will be a little excess on the tracks. No one's been out to prepare them. And I guess what you want to do is place your ski where someone else has had theirs in the last 30 seconds, just so you get a nice smooth bit of snow.
Oh, good to see Petrova doing so well at this stage in the race.
Yeah, it's been a fairly lean season so far for Petrova.
Oh my word, you don't see this very often. This is very dangerous. What on earth has happened? She's fallen over the front of the range. There's athletes shooting to her left. There's officials jumping in front of the rifle.
Well, I'm sure someone will have caught it on camera. It's a little comical, but when you ski onto the mats obviously have quite a lot of friction, so you can stand there. And I think she just must have gone head over heels, leaving the skis behind. But a little bit of embarrassment for the Croatian
Petrova's fallen. She slipped on the icy section there as you exit the range. What is going on? Look at the snow now. This is going to slow them down.
Well, yeah, Glasgow is now saying, why didn't I go in group number 1? But I'm not so sure she would have had a choice. Going through 53, Emma Fowler. We'll try and get you her score after the first shoot. Fowler, of course, who qualified for the pursuit in Oberhof, having her best run for a long, long time. Picking up the pace, Bavrel Robert, who shot clear but considerably slower than the best on the skis, already outside the time set by Zaitseva. Coming into the last 50 metres now for Bavrel Robert, the first to have gone clear, and she is going to be down outside the time set by Appel, but into 5th place. Not a bad run, her best of the season so far, and another clear shoot. Quick recovery from these women. It looks very painful, but 30 seconds after finishing, they've filled the lungs again and reoxygenated the blood. As Ishtat leaves, that one penalty may cost her chance of victory here today, Mike. This is quite a difficult one to call. Of course, we've still got the likes of Bailly out there, Guseva and Glago, who have yet to complete their shoots. Kati Wilhelm, very quick earlier on, lying in first position after the first shoot with 12:32 on the clock, and still 50 seconds inside Zabrilova's time. Can't afford a miss though. What a shame, the crowd reacting to those two misses from Kati Wilhelm. It was all going so well up to that stage. I think there was just a change of thought in Wilhelm's mind.
They are the thinking shots. The last two shots, 8 out of 8. Missed number 9, missed number 10. A little bit of pressure coming in. Impressed me so much, it was off camera. Zubrilova was one lane beside the athlete that fell over the range. All these officials moving around in front of her, and Zubrilova shot the perfect shot and is leading. And here we have a chance to see how she's skiing, and it's fast. This could well be the Belarus athlete. Could be her day today, and that would be good to see.
Well, I think Linda Sjöholm may argue about that. Here she is coming in towards the finish. 24:50. She's just outside Olofsson's time. It's been a brave effort by Linda Sjöholm. Berger's time of 25:34 is going to be beaten. That really was an unbelievable ski by Olofsson, Mike, over the last leg. She's caught up a mile or so on Berger, and has also destroyed Sjöholm. He's got into second, 12 seconds off the lead. Noy in second and third at the moment.
Well,
Sweden leading.
Well, I was just thinking there, it was the year 2002. It's the last time we've seen a Swedish flag leading the women's 7.5 kilometre, but it wasn't Olofsson.
Now, Svetlana Schöne-Usva. We haven't seen too much of Svetlana so far this year. Anna Faber with the selectors.
Her ski time is good, very good.
Well, you don't get back into the Russian team unless you're on form. And she is on form. Look at that. 16:54. Is she going to win her first race back? 17:17, the leading time prior to Shena Uthseva's score. She's certainly going to be inside that and may have a margin of 10 seconds or so. Uschi Diesel coming in to finish. Not the sort of result the German fans were wanting. 26:41, down in 9th position. She's certainly going to be outside the top 10 today, and I think is going to surrender the bib of World Cup leader, because Sandrine Bay is on course. Only 3 points behind Diesel in the standings. We've got Olga Zaitseva, who's put in another good run, only 13 points behind Bay, so she could well drop from first down to third. And should Olga Pilieva win here today, then she could go down to fourth.
But for now it's Sheranusova, and she's never won a World Cup, but leading by 8 seconds with 2.5 kilometers to go.
8 seconds over Elena Zabrilova, who also shot clear, but we did see Zabrilova heading towards the finish and looking very, very strong indeed. So we're expecting Zabrilova to take the lead when she comes into the final stage. Martina Glago. Strangely inconsistent this year. That looked close, or sounded close rather.
It did indeed, but well done, Martina. And this is keeping the German hopes alive. She nearly fell there as well on the icy patch as you leave the range. I think the officials should be working on that, put some snow on it.
You're too kind to the athletes. Give them a bit of variety. They should know by that. They've been round the loop for the last 4 or 5 days. They should know where the difficult patches are. Now, Davoska, what she managed to do in the last sprint. She's not going to overtake Scherholm, and Berger with 25:34. In fact, Berger's going to be beaten. Davoska goes into third. Another good run from her. So it's a day for the big old names coming back to form. Shena Useva's going well. Zabrilova going exceptionally well. And Davoska having her best race of the season. So that's very good news indeed. Are we seeing the athletes winding up their form in preparation for the World Championships? Surely it's too early for that.
Well, it's a long old season, Patrick, and those who started so sparky, so well at the beginning of December, I think they're beginning to tire a little bit. The older athletes, more experienced, just beginning to come through. But it can change. I mean, as the races go on, your form can fluctuate. But good to see Zabrilova, Sheranusova doing so well at this stage.
Here's Henkel. It was all going well up until that 9th shot, and then she just threw the last 2 wide, so she hasn't got a chance of catching the leaders. 4 clear shoots so far, but in fact 5 have gone clear now. Shena Useva and Zabrilova we know about. Katerina Davoska, who's just finished, she's also clear. Bavrel Robert of France, clear but a little slower. And Elena Petrova of Ukraine has also gone clear and could just get herself a top 10 result because of that.
Well, there's only 2 seconds here to keep hold of to win this race, or at this stage of the race. But Olofsson finished much stronger. It visually looked faster at this stage than Zabrilova.
Certainly looked more competent on that left-hand bend. Zabrilova looking a little like a young giraffe as she came round there. Really should have been able to control that and attack the corner a little better. Has it cost her a possible win here? 24:58, the time that Zabrilova is after. Olofsson looking nervous in the finish area, but the time clicking away. 10 seconds now for the Belarus skier to come in and finish. It's going to be very, very tight. 55-56. Olofsson is safe. Zabrilova goes down into second, but only just by 1/10 of a second. And Scherholm now down in third. But how unlucky was that? And Mike, it came down to that corner.
It came down to the corner and that home straight, 150 meters. But as you say, if you don't carry speed into the corner, you don't carry speed out of it, and that's where she lost her 2.9 seconds. But it's going to change again when the Russian athlete comes through, Sheranusova.
Yeah, Sheranusova on the charge, 7.9 second advantage, and from what we've seen so far today, she's going very well. But when you're coming back to form, you may be good for 5Ks. The last 2.5K may be a little bit too far for the Russians, so it's not a foregone conclusion as yet. one of the later Norwegians getting underway. And if you've just joined us, a reminder that Liv Greta Poiré pulling out of today's race. We were a bit surprised to hear that, but her youngster not too well, so Liv Greta's decided to stay at home as such in the Poiré camp and just do what's necessary there. It does mean she'll miss the pursuit on Sunday, so she's going to drop out of the top 10 of the World Cup rankings. But already her focus is on trying to find some sort of form before the World Championships so she can add to the medal tally she got in Oberhof last year. Ishtad of Norway, a good shoot, just through one wide in the standing, and it's a very good ski as well. She's going to go in just ahead of Sherholm. So Norway in third and fourth. Zabrilova from Belarus in two.
Well, this is going to be some pursuit race, the top 60 going through to Sunday's race, and only 5 seconds separating the first four.
Well, it's very good news for Sweden, Mike, that they have someone at the top of the leaderboard yet again. Long time it seems since Magdalena Forsberg retired. She's now she'll be in the commentary box working for one of the German channels, and I dare say she'll be enjoying this moment. And it's taken a long time. We thought her success would almost certainly breed success in Sweden, but it's been, what, 4 years?
It's taken a long time, hasn't it? And I think Olofsson's picked up on, of course, the men's team winning the relay. It gives the whole country belief the biathletes are feeding off this success. And I think Olofsson may well stay at the top because these snow conditions are making it slower.
Good point. Certainly Xingyang Liu is not going to be able to challenge the leaders, but she's put in a good ski to get 7th place with 2 misses in total. 25.39. Liu, when she has a clear shoot, is going to be a potential winner. Kelly Wilhelm coming in, 2 misses for her also. 25.19 the time, 5th position. The skiing's good. Those last few shots costing Wilhelm her chance of victory. Now Olga Pilieva, a real opportunity to go back into the top 2 of the World Cup standings. Well, the shooting just nice and deliberate, took her time, it has paid off, she's cleared the targets, and I think Olga Pilieva is going to be right on the tail of Svetlana Shona-Usova, who's coming in to finish now. 24.30, she's got 26 seconds to get inside Anna Olofsson of Sweden. I think Olofsson's reign at the top of the leaderboard is going to go. It's a powerful finish from Svetlana Shona-Usova. The snow hasn't helped her, but she's fought through it. She's got the leading position. 24.45 now, the target time for Olga Pilieva, who's out on that final loop. So a good day for the Norwegians, an excellent day for the Russians as well, and the Swedes. Only the Germans have been a little under par. Just waiting for Olga Pilieva to go through 6.3 kilometers with 1,200 meters to go. It'll be a little time. Here are the standings at the finish at the moment. Shona-Usova of Russia leading, has finally deposed Anna Olofsson, who you can see started very early on at number 15. Zabrilova third. Ishtad in 4th position. Further down, Olga Zaitseva, those 2 misses, Mike. She's only 1:08. She has missed a real opportunity to pull clear of Uschi Diesel in the World Cup standings.
Indeed, so important to hit your targets, and oh, there's the fall. Now that was a bit of a shock.
Now what happened there? Did you pick that up? Did the ski just slip, or do you think she was standing on the ski pole?
She positioned herself too far forward. Her ski was partly over the front of the range.
Now, that rifle is loaded. I'm amazed that she didn't actually disarm it before she handed it back up. Is she going to get disqualified for that?
I don't think so. That was an unusual situation. In my 16 years racing, never seen that before. Just not concentrating. You can see the athlete in the picture. The left leg is always very close to the front of the firing point. You do have to be very careful.
Now Martina Glago clear on the first shoot. 17:08 the time she's after. She's not quite going to get inside Pilieva's time. Well, the sound giving away the result of someone else's shot. It wasn't Glago's. So she's still on for a clear shoot. Down it goes, 10 out of 10, back to her old form, and she's now chasing the two Russians. Maybe the Germans have got something to cheer about. After all, Olga Pilieva certainly not safe quite yet. Just outside, 5 seconds is about the margin that she could make up on Shona Usova. She's got 6.3, Mike. It's a very tight call indeed.
It's a tight call, but we can guarantee all the information is going to be passed on every 300 or 400 meters. So Glago will know exactly what she's doing every meter of the way. But what she has to do is totally go for it beyond any push that she's done in this season so far if she wants victory.
So she's got to put up with a bit of pain if she wants to take victory here. Just clearing the rear sight. Albina Akhmatova, good start from her as well. Just 5 or 6 seconds slower than Glago at the moment. Very, very quick shooting, but she's paid a heavy price. An extra 40 seconds at least added to her time. The tactics were there to win, and as a result she's going to finish outside the top 5. 2 expensive misses. How is Martina Glago getting on? Here she is on her final loop, just over 2,000 meters to go. Olga Pilieva wearing 60 there, just leading this pair of skiers. Zabrilova 21.07 there. We've got the clock right. She's still got the lead. She's opened up 1 second over Shona Usova. She was 1 second ahead originally, now 2.7. It's going the way of Olga Pilieva, but they have got those tight turns. She's going to have to make sure she attacks them. She can't afford to do as we saw earlier on, where some of the skiers just stepping around very tentatively.
Indeed, you have to hit them with positive belief that you can get round the corners and fast.
6.9 seconds for Uschi Diesel to make up this. It's the replay of her shooting that we're watching at the moment, and she's brought joy to the German fans for the moment. Yuxia Hu of China. You can see for yourself, 3 misses in all for Hu. Too much of a price for her to pay, and that is going to cost her a good start in the pursuit event, assuming of course she finishes in the top 60. I think she should with the performance we've seen so far. Here comes Olga Pilieva having a good battle with the German skier Katja Beer, who we haven't seen too much on the circuit so far this year. Pilieva takes the lead again with some good alpine skills, and now she's got to really attack because it's so close between herself and Shona Usova. Shona Usova never won a race, Mike. It would be great to see her take a victory here in Rupolling, but I'm not sure that Olga Pilieva is going to let her do it.
It doesn't look like that. Pilieva, the advantage being the athlete behind. But we have to wait. Confusing me a little bit. I can't understand why Martina Glago is so close to Pilieva when she started 5 places behind.
I don't think it is. I think it's Katja Beer, actually. I think we've a case of mistaken identity.
Possibly.
Unless, of course, Glago taking a shortcut, but I don't think that's the case.
No, Glago is dropping 3 seconds since the range on Pilieva's time.
Now 10 seconds down, so too much for her to do. It's not going to be a victory for Glagau. Now here comes Olga Pilieva's gained good time on that last hill. Excellent work, goes round the corner, not quite so steady this time, but keeps the legs working. Something approaching a skate turn, not quite what she would have wanted, but she stayed on her feet, kept the momentum, and now just on the last drive towards the finish line. She knows exactly what she's got to do. Pilieva, after that time of Shona Usova, 6-time podium for Shona Usova, never won a race, and I think she's going to be denied by her teammate. 24:45, 10 seconds for Pilieva to cross the line now. 40 metres or so to go, and it's going to be very, very tight. 43, 44, 45. She's just inside. Oh, how close is that? In fact, the time's exactly the same. Exactly the same to a 1/10 of a second. Now, she couldn't have scripted that better. Maybe Shona Usova will be on the top step of the podium at last. It's been such a long wait.
Well, they were both with perfect shooting. The ski speed a little bit slower for Pilieva, and I think that's partly to do with the conditions. But two Russians in first position.
Oh. Jenny Adler was the woman we thought was actually Olga Pilieva. She's must have got one of Martina Glagau's spare hats.
That's right, Jenny Adler did so well in the Europa Cup 5 just 2 days ago in the 15-kilometre, promoted through to the women's team.
Katibir, just that one miss. It was the 10th shot that went wide, and it's pushed her out of the top 10, I think. Guseva at 18.01 just stays in 10th position. Beer just behind by 0.7 of a second. Well, as you've seen, the conditions changing right the way through the event here in Rupollding. Plenty of snow early on. It then lightened up. In fact, the temperature dropped by a degree, and we had some nice light snow, but now it's thick and heavy and wet and slow, and it's costing the later starters time, particularly Martina Glagau, just 6.9 seconds behind. She's now 7.7, and the Russians have put in very good finishes indeed. Shona Usova in particular. Any news of Sandrine Bailly, Mike? I know she missed 2 on the prone.
Just looking there, cannot find how she's
down in 21st position, I think, at the moment, at the finish. Or 22nd. 2 and 1 she missed on the shooting. Anyway, Bailly is not going to score too many World Cup points, whatever happens. And I think it's going to be very tight at the top, because Zaitseva may well have gained those 13 points on both Zaitseva and Bailly.
Oh, what a fight from Glagau. That was a good ski speed the last 1 kilometre, but not enough to take first place. Very good performance.
Disappointing for Anna Olofsson, now off the podium, but only 8 seconds outside. And Olofsson's shooting, remember, 1 miss in the prone. Had she hit all the targets, she would have won this race today. So she will use that as some form of encouragement. It's a long, drawn-out affair. The Rupollding crowd being kept a little quiet by the snow. I think they need to go to Oberhof and learn a few lessons. Oberhof, not as well designed as this stadium, but there's something about the amphitheatre that just creates a fantastic atmosphere.
And I agree with you, and in Oberhof as well, you've got far more spectators around the track, and you really feel the atmosphere. They're screaming and shouting at everybody, encouraging everybody.
Well, I think things will change on Saturday and Sunday when everyone's off work. They'll turn up without a doubt. Now, let's have a look at the standings. Unlikely to change. Pilieva and Shona Usova have exactly the same time. They're sharing that top spot at the moment. Martina Glagau in 3rd. Good finish from Glagau to hold on to 3rd. Olofsson just pushed off the podium. Elena Zabrilova, a good run. That's just what she needed to kickstart her World Cup campaign. And Ishtag Christensen down in 6th place at the moment. Early leader Tora Berger now down in 10th with just 1 miss. Xingliang Lu, Mike, 2 misses, and she's in 11th place, one of the fastest skiers today.
Yeah, she's coming through, Lu. She's coming through as a real fast skier. and her form is coming up, so we could well see a podium finish from the Chinese biathlete.
Well, still some way to go. Albina Ilyatova putting in a good final ski, but those two misses have cost her. She was a minute off the pace after the second shoot, and really just fighting for a top 15 finish. The closer she can get to the leaders, the closer she'll start behind them in the pursuit on Sunday. 14th place for Albina Ilyatova, the Russians dominating the top 15. Rupolding, the latter stages of the women's 7.5 kilometre sprint. And so far it's been very, very fruitful for the Russian team in particular. Germany not doing too badly now that Martina Glago's got herself up into third position. The Norwegians, I think, will be delighted that Ishtad and Sjöholm are in 5th and 6th, with Tora Berger down in 10th, so 3 in the top 10 for the Norwegians. And the other good bit of news is that Davoska of Bulgaria has had her best race of the season, up in 9th position at the moment, having shot clear and just 42 seconds off the leaders. Now the Americans, Mike with Barnes, Rachel Steer, the best of the Americans so far this year.
Well, Lani, her focus went for the last shot, and that's why she missed it. But yes, just check on the other American results at the finish so far. Yeah, Rachel Steer, 38th position. See Emma Fowler in 46th, another good result. That's at the finish of her race. Of course, some more to come in, but she may well again start in the pursuit on Sunday. So well done, Emma Fowler.
And her shooting even better this time, 1 and 0. So she shot 5 with 5 in the standing. That's no mean feat. I think she'll be delighted with that. And let's hope that she stays in the top 60. As you say, Mike, still a lot of skiers to come in. And we suspect the snow getting a little slower as it deepens.
Well, Petrova looking again at the finish. Petrova's down in 19th, had the perfect shoot, but 1 minute 32 off the pace. So it needs to find better ski form, Petrova.
There's Olga Pilieva. Looks satisfied with her day's work, and so she should, lying in top spot at the moment with Svetlana Chernousova. Absolutely delighted that Chernousova is still there in the lead position.
Pilieva reminds me a little bit of Forsberg, who led for so many years, because when they come in to shoot, it's deliberate. They do not squeeze the trigger unless they have a good sight picture, and that's why Pilieva is so consistent. She doesn't force errors upon herself, and it's about having the self-discipline, the control in order to do that. Koblar has just come in, Slovenia, that's good, 19th position, missed 2 targets, 131 behind.
So if they share the win, Mike, do they both get 50 points in the World Cup, or do they split 50 and 46 and get 48 each?
Well, when did we last see an equal win? I can't remember. It's been a long time, but I think they'll both get 50 points for that, and they'll both get the 9,000 euros as well.
Oh, that's quite handy.
So it'll be a good night in the Russian team. Drinks on Pilieva and Chernousova.
Well, I certainly can't remember a shared win in the last 10 years. We'll have to put the statisticians to work and see if it has happened before. Certainly happened in the Nordic world, where they've split the medals. Now, Katja Beer coming in to finish, just 1 miss in the standing, and it's not a bad run from Katja Beer, but with such a strong squad, she needs to be in the top 4 Germans to really get herself a place in the next relay event. Gone ahead of Arpel, I think she'll be happy with that, but despite the fact that she's shot 9, still fading a little later on. Adler now of Germany, freshly promoted from the Europa Cup.
In fact, Adler has taken the place of Simone Denkinger in the World Cup team. I believe Simone's come back to the Europa Cup, so there is always interchange there. If you're not performing well, the German team, you will be demoted, if you like, back to the Europa Cup team.
Not much fun to be demoted, but it can do a lot of good if you suddenly start finishing in the top 3 of events. Your confidence suddenly comes back, and before you know it, you're promoted back into the World Cup Series. Flatland of Norway. Well, she's missed one, but I think that's a much better performance than we saw from her in the relay in Oberhof, where she had an absolute nightmare in the standing shoot. So she's proved she can do it, and I guess she can build on that performance.
Indeed, Norwegians, like the Germans and Adler, bringing in the young athletes, and it's so good. Of course, you don't expect perfect races every time from them, but they're building and gaining on that experience all the time, because it is about coping with pressure and the situation. The more you put yourself in that situation, the better you are at dealing with it. It's a good time there from Flatland. Top 25 position, I think she'll hold on to.
So Flatland just heading out of the penalty area. We're going to take a quick welcome back to Rupollding. We are approaching the closing stages of the women's sprint event. It is a long, drawn-out affair. I think you need to be a bit of a biathlon buff to stick with it all the way through. It's hard going, especially when so many of the top athletes start early. But Mike, we've seen some good performances today. Delighted with the Russian performances and the young Norwegians who are starting to prove that they're world class. A little surprised by the German inconsistency. What's going on there?
That is surprising. Normally we see better performances here. I put it down to just the tension, the pressure from right behind them. This is a range where the spectators are right on your shoulder, if you like, when you're shooting. And I think that's the factor that's got to the German girls. Martina Glago, we know, can handle as much pressure as you throw at her. And she did cope well, only 4.9 seconds behind first place. Kathi Wilhelm, the second German athlete, but missed 2 in the standing. As did Henkel. And Katja Beer missing 1 in 16th place. Good chance to see the Polish biathlete Ponikua, but 3 penalties. Again, she realised she was placing us in the top 30 position. All she needed to do was clear, but the pressure made her miss 3 targets.
Well, obviously a few things could change, but can tell you that Uschi Diesel is out of the top 20 rankings, and just trying to work out what that's going to do to her World Cup chances. In fact, she's out of the top 32, so no extra points for Uschi Diesel. She will stay on 330 points, so we can guarantee that Olga Pilieva will go ahead. I can't see anyone beating Pilieva's time. She should pick up the full 50, which will put her on to 351. Sandrine Bailly, the other woman we thought could take the lead today, has also not had a brilliant run. Bailly lying down in 24th position at the moment, and if she stays there, she will pick up just 7 points, which will push her on to 334. So at the moment it looks as though Pilieva is going to take the yellow bib back again, having had it taken away in the first race in Oberhof.
Well, it is a season of change, isn't it? Uschi in yellow, Pilieva in yellow.
And Zaitseva, the other woman in the top 4 of the rankings. Zaitseva not had her best race of the season, but she should finish in the top 10.
I'm very impressed with this young girl, Jenny Adler. She looks powerful, her technique is in place, and there's certainly a name to look out for in the future for Germany. The German clubs do develop these athletes young, 10 years old and onwards, and sometimes even younger. Let them have a feel with air rifles. Oh, another fall. Estonian. Peeps.
Well, the problem being that we've got a little bit of fresh snow on the top, which is hiding the icy patches, and the fresh snow obviously doesn't adhere to the ice, and so as soon as you place your ski on it, it just slips away from you and down you go. So it's not that they're getting tired or they've lost their ability to stand on the skis, it's just that if you hit the ice just as you're pushing off with the ski, it will just disappear. Now, most of the Norwegians have done well today. Here's Henneschied in one of her first World Cup races. Done okay on the prone. 4 out of 5 in the standing would be good enough, I suspect. Unlucky with the last one, but 3 out of 5, so 3 penalties in all. It's all about experience at this level, way off the pace of the leaders, but give her a couple of years. I suspect we'll see her getting World Cup points on regular occasions.
The information for the coaches: you take your laptop computer out on the track side, and you can pick up on the split timings at any given point. You can see how your athletes have been shooting immediately, so the information is there for the coaches to pass on to their athletes.
See the weight on the end of the barrel. Stability, or
it's for the resonance of the barrel. It's like a shock absorber or a vibration absorber. And I never used one, but when you see people putting them at different places along the barrel, each barrel having a slightly different tune to it.
There was a phase in alpine skiing where they used to put them on the end of the skis just to stop them vibrating. And there's another bad mistake. All sorts of things going wrong today. Someone falling off the edge of the firing point. We've had plenty of fallers. Padilla there just letting go of the pole. What they try and do is build up momentum before they put the stick or the strap back over the wrist. So I guess it's always a risk, but shouldn't really happen at this level.
Oh, look at Jenny Adler, so powerful, but she doesn't look relaxed. There's a lot of tension in her muscles there. The glide factor, of course, it's steep, but you can see the comparison. The Norwegian looking slightly more smooth. Flatland.
Yeah, losing a lot of time. Flatland Adler really attacking that last uphill section. Desperate to impress the likes of Uwe Musigang, who will play a role in deciding whether she gets selected for the next World Cup. Zaitseva, you can see down in 18th position. She's had a good ski over the last leg. Zaitseva's got herself up into 12, which will give her 24 World Cup points. She, if she finishes there, she'll end up on 339. In fact, in second position in the overall behind Pilieva. Sandrine Bailly, I think, is going to go ahead of Diesel as well, so she'll be in third. Diesel is likely to drop from first to fourth, and it's extraordinary at this stage of the season that the top 4 women are so closely matched.
It is indeed swapping and changing. Adler just going to miss out on her first World Cup points.
That's not bad though. 1:58. She'll start just about 2 minutes behind the leaders in the pursuit event, and a real opportunity for her to climb up the rankings. Flatland has got World Cup points on the other hand, provided she stays there. There aren't too many out on the field threatening. 26th position. That's not a bad run at all.
That is very good indeed. Just behind Brankovic, who missed 3 targets, so the Slovenian biathlete skiing very well out there, and I think we can look for Sunday for Brankovic to move way up from 25th where she is right now. The steep hill, you can see how steep it is.
Julia Makarova, who we've seen in action in the Russian relay team on one occasion, but looking very tired indeed.
She is. Well, she did the Europa Cup 15 kilometre just a couple of days ago. In fact, she won it with the perfect shoot, and that's why she's back on the World Cup tour, but more tired possibly after a 15 kilometre.
That's the longest distance that they race in the women's biathlon. Is that Uschi Diesel out? Well, yeah, she's taken the bib off and given it to the dog. I don't think that's too much of a compliment to poor Olga Pilieva, who will be wearing it for the next race on Sunday. Uschi, of course, lives around here, lives in Kosten, actually, just over on the Austrian side of the border.
Yes, Makarova will be a little disappointed. Only 2 targets missed. but quite a long way off the pace at the sharp end.
So what's the start of the pursuit going to look like, Mike? Obviously the two Russians going off together, which is a first for biathlon. Pilieva and Shona Usova. Glago in a very good position.
It's going to be an exciting race. And then 12 seconds later, Olofsson, 13 seconds, Zubrilova, 18 Istad. Yes. So, I mean, it really is all going to be a serious battle out there.
Well, as you can see from there, the first 8 all going off in 33 seconds. We should get 11 underway in the first minute of that pursuit event. There's so many big names up there, and 1 or 2 that haven't performed today have a lot of chasing to do. You'll notice the absence of Bailly. You'll notice the absence also of Uschi Diesel from the top 16 places. De Voska, a great run for her today in 9th position, 42 seconds to catch up on the leaders, and maybe it will be lose day on Sunday in the pursuit. The Chinese woman just under a minute to catch on the leaders. Sandrine Bailly down there in 24th position. She will get 12 points for that. Move on to 334 in her World Cup tally. Good enough for 3rd position. So she's lost a bit of ground. And look at that. 34th, Uschi Diesel, 4 misses. Usually her skiing is quick enough to make up for that, but that's an indication that the level in World Cup skiing has improved over this season. But the racing always that little bit closer here down in Rupolding. Looking for Emma Fowler now of Great Britain to see whether she's finished in the top 60. We're not going to go that far, but we'll try and cue in on the computer. She's down in 64th position, so just missed out. What a shame, just a couple of seconds outside a qualifying position for Sunday. Well, we're going to take another quick break. Taylor of the United States heading home now with 5 misses. We'll be back to see what sort of time she records in just a moment. Stay with us. So here we go, the last few moments of the women's sprint here in Rupolding. 7.5 kilometres in all, but 110 starters. It really is a massive field for this stage of the season, and if you've stayed with us throughout, congratulations. It's been a slow one, but we have seen some good performances nonetheless. Mike, what options do we have? Do we cut the field, or do we reduce the time between them at the start? How can we work it?
Well, possibly, and I know it's been looked at, you could have the elite group of the best 30 in the world starting at the tail end of the field, and then the race is alive to the very end.
I'll buy that. I go for that, although of course it does rule out the weather factor, which is a major thing in biathlon. These are the shots of the day's winner, or one of the day's winners, Olga Pilieva. Very good shooting indeed. Gave 100% in the closing stages to close down on Svetlana Shona Usova, and recorded exactly the same time. Immensely strong. Held the yellow bib earlier in the season, and she's got it back again with this performance. Svetlana Shona Usova, delighted to see her producing her best ever result. She's not been on form this season, she's been away, but as we said, you don't get back on the Russian World Cup team unless you are a potential winner. And Shona Usova, having recorded 6 podium wins in her career, has finally gone one better, and she is on top spot today. Shares the win with Olga Pilieva. Absolutely delighted for her.
Yes, she came to biathlon late, Shona Usova, and at 34-year-old taking your first victory, that must give a lot of hope to a lot of younger biathletes.
I tell you who won't be too pleased is her teammate Ishmaradova, who's also in the same situation. 12 podiums she's got without a win. Surely she thought she should get the win first, but I think actually they'll be delighted for each other. Martina Glago, 3rd today. It was a strong run towards the finish. Back to a normal shooting form. 10 targets, no problem. 10 rounds, that's all you need. She's got them all down, and Glago in the end fading, unable to match the Russians over the last 2,000 metres.
There's the effort, and good chance to see Martina out on the tracks. Power, focus, determined to try and pull back the 9 seconds after the shoot. but just managed to get it down to 4.9. Must give Martina hope for Sunday's race, the pursuit. Shooting like that,
I'm not sure you'll get too good an odds on Glasgow winning that particular event, because being the best shot, she's got a brilliant opportunity. But Olga Pilieva of the same kind, she's totally calm in all situations. The ice woman Pilieva, I think she'll give Glasgow a run for her money, but I don't think we're going to see Shona Usova there in the running at the end of the race, although I do hope she does.
Uwe Musegang being congratulated there.
I think Ushi could have done with a dog to tow around that last loop. That would, and incidentally, that is a sport, cross-country skiing, with any number of dogs. It's incredible to see the speeds they achieve. A lot of very popular up in Scandinavia. I know a couple of ex-British skiers gave it a go for a while, but certainly it would be nice to see a little bit of that on Eurosport at some stage.
It's a good fun sport, as you say, dogs dragging the skiers, skating up behind them. Yeah, lively sport. There's Ubaldo Pruker congratulating Uwe Musegang. Ubaldo is responsible for the development of biathlon, and I think he's doing a fantastic job of that.
Now, Grudicek just coming in, the last starter today, 1:10. Nothing will change in the top 30 now. 2:52 off the leader. She's coming in 59th position, so she's just managed to earn herself a start for the pursuit on Sunday. One or two stragglers still out on the course, but they're not going to make any change to those top 60 positions. So we can confirm that it is a shared victory for the first time in our memory anyway. We'll have to get the books out just to see that that is correct. And Shona Usova, Pilieva, both getting 50 points on the World Cup, both picking up €9,000 for their troubles today. And an added bonus for Olga Pilieva. She goes top of the World Cup standings for the second time this year.
What surprised me today, the wind wasn't very strong, but we've only seen 9 athletes going clear, shooting the perfect 10 out of 10. Normally on this very race down here in Rupolding, I've seen in the women's race 15 to 20 of the women biathletes hitting 10 out of 10. So maybe it was just a little bit difficult with the snow, slight breeze, though not much, to put 9 athletes hitting all 10. Well, that's a brave dog.
Well, nothing like playing to the crowd, it's just a plain show-off. So he's allowed to stay there for a while, but I wouldn't hang around.